Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to night 16 of Diddy or Didn't He, our daily rundown of all the events that happen inside that Manhattan courthouse where the Sean Diddy Combs trial has been occurring. Night 16. We've been doing this 16 days now in a row here on RadioMisfits.com. So remember, if you want to keep up, like, follow, subscribe, do all of that kind of stuff, make sure that you check in with us every day because this trial gets sillier and sillier every day. Look, I don't know what happened today. Well, I mean, actually, I do know what happened today. Don't get me wrong. I put a lot of work into this. I actually watched this thing. Well, I don't watch it. God, I wish we could. Wouldn't that be so much better? Like today. Today we had Bongo. I'm going to call her Bongo. Today we had Bongo on the stand, on the stage. I almost said it is like a stage. This is entertainment to us. So today we had Bongo on the stand, and I'm like, I wish I knew what Bongo looked like. I wish I could watch Bongo, but we really are losing something here, I think. So anyway, I'm trying to piece it together as best I can. We do it every single day. I'm having fun. I hope you are too. If you're interested in the other kinds of things that I do every day at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, right here also at Radio Misfits, I do a talk show. It's called The Rant. It's a live stream every day with me in a very vibrant chat room. And we talk about all the hot topics, current events, pop culture, whatever it is that people are talking about. We do it every single day at 2 o'clock. Been doing it every single day since 2021. Talk radio for normal people. Why do I say normal? I say normal because there's a good 30% of us in this country that are not normal. We understand this implicitly by this point, right? I mean, can we be straight? There's 15% of our cousins, our uncles, our friends, our coworkers. There's 15% of them who align on the right, and they're nuts. They're gone. We can't deal with them. Then on the other side, on the left, you got 15% of them over there on the left. Cousins, hell, maybe even wives. I don't know. They're over there on the left, and they're nuts. They're gone. 15 on the left, 15 on the right. That's 30 combined. This is 30% of the American population that just we can't do business with. That leaves us, the normal 70. We're the 70% of normal people in this country who can actually sit down, have a beer, and laugh. And look at that. We didn't even vote for the same person. How do we do that? We do that because we're normal. Okay, we do that because we're normal people. And I do a talk show for that demographic every single day, Monday through Friday, around about 2 o'clock Central Time, 2 p.m. Central Time. You can find all the old shows, RadioMisfits.com, or go to the YouTube page. You can go to my page, Pugs Moran, or Pugs and Company. Actually, here's the best thing to do. Just Google search Pugs Moran. That should work. All right, back to the subject at hand. We're talking about the Diddy trial. Diddy or Didn't He, night 16. Today, we heard from a couple of people, only two. Today was a short day. One of them very quickly. Let's be honest. Today was a day where we basically only heard from one person, and that is friend of Cassie, Brianna Bungalon. That's a Brianna Bungalon. She's a friend. She's a friend of Cassie's, fellow model. We learned that today. She testified for the bulk of the day about a number of violent episodes that she witnessed. It should also be noted that she is currently involved in ongoing litigation with Diddy. She is suing him for one of the incidents that she testified about today on the stand. So that's Brianna Bungalon. I'm going to call her Bongo. I'm just going to call her Bongo, please. I don't want to get messed up trying to, pronounce her name properly. Wouldn't want to be offensive. All right, so Bongo was on there for most of the day. But before we heard from Bongo, we got a little bit of Frank Piazza. When I said yesterday, I'm like, hey, we got some dude named Frank Piazza going to open up the show. Opening for Bongo was Frank Piazza today. And I didn't know what Frank Piazza's role was. Turns out Frank Piazza is a video expert. He's a video forensic expert, an analyst. I don't know. I'm just throwing fucking words that sound like they match. I don't know. I don't know what he does. He's an investigator. He basically got up there for about 15 minutes today and testified about the Cassie video, the one we've all seen, the Hotel Intercontinental. All right, let's get us to where we left off. Where we left off yesterday, we were listening to the conclusion of Bad Boy Records former CEO Derek Ferguson. Remember, he got up yesterday. He worked for Diddy for 19 years. He was compelled by subpoena to give his witness testimony. So he's not necessarily somebody who's there doing the heavy lifting for the prosecution. So we heard from him yesterday. He revealed that a hedge fund that Jeffrey Epstein was invested in heavily owned a large portion of Diddy's Revolt Media company. So there you have it. That was the big nothing story from yesterday. It's nothing. Money guys in New York, money goes everywhere. It's not like, oh, Diddy and Epstein. No, it's not. It's not like you and your brother-in-law opening a coffee stand. Well, they were invested together. No, it's not the same thing. It doesn't mean anything. But, Epstein is a very scary name to have associated with anybody, as is Diddy, for that matter. Diddy is a very scary name to have associated. So there you go. We had that yesterday. Okay, so we opened up today with Frank Piazza, the video expert. He's an expert video analyst, Frank Piazza. He testified as to the footage. They apparently showed some new footage, a different angle or video footage of the incident that we've all seen. The video footage, let's run down the history of the video footage. So remember, this all became public when CNN, about a year ago, got themselves a copy of the Hotel Intercontinental security footage from the night back in 2016 when Diddy lost his shit in the public hallway and beat the crap out of Cassie in front of the elevators. Okay, that video existed. It recorded it. So after the incident, Diddy tried to get that video taken care of, gone. He want to get rid of it. So he went to the security company who I guess manages the tapes and all that stuff. And he ended up paying a $100,000 bribe to Bill Medina, the owner of the security company, the private security company who was working on the premises of the Intercontinental on that day. Paid $100,000. Him and Bill, Puffy and Bill made a deal. $100,000. $50,000 would go to Bill, and then $50,000 would go to the two security guys who were there, who are going to turn a blind eye, if you will, to this whole thing. So that's the $100,000. And Diddy was convinced for a period of time that videotape was gone. But here comes CNN last year. CNN somehow got it. I don't know. I still would love to know that story. I would like to hear from the CNN investigative person who somehow came across that. How did they get across that? Do we know? Do we know how that tape? Because Diddy, again, I don't want to defend Diddy. Trust me, I don't want to defend Diddy. The guy's a monster. But he paid in good faith. The man paid in good faith. It's a bribe. Yeah, it still works. I can say that. So in good faith, he bribed a man $100,000 and expected the problem to go away, and it didn't. CNN got it, and so that's what Frank Piazza was testifying to again today. Nothing new there. As I said, he was only on the stand for about 15 minutes, and then that was that with that. So Frank Piazza, don't know what he did. Appreciate you. Thanks for coming by. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. All right, that set the stage for the person that, we could hear from her for multiple days. She was on the stand for the bulk of today. She's going to come back tomorrow. They're already crossing her, so the prosecution seems to be done with her. So maybe tomorrow, I'm sure the cross is going to want to really get into this. It's Bongo. Bongo is what we're calling her. All right, I'll give it to you one more time. Her real name is Brianna Bungalon. I guess that's a nickname. Everybody calls her Bono. Well, maybe I should call her Bono instead of Bongo, but I like Bongo. Her name, God-given name, is Brianna Bungalon. She's a friend of Cassie's. She's a fellow model. As I said, she is also currently engaged in a lawsuit with Diddy, a civil suit. Diddy apparently did some stuff to her. So she told the jury today all about the stuff that she witnessed as Cassie's best friend. Best friend, she's the best friend that's like, girl, you gotta leave him. She's like that best friend, I'm sure. But it's Diddy. Actually, that's the question we're all wondering. Why, girl, you gotta leave him. She, I guess Cassie says that she couldn't leave him. And that's what the prosecution is trying to prove. And I don't know. We'll get into that at the end. We'll do a scorecard at the end. All right, so Brianna, oh God, Bongo. I'm calling her Bongo. So Bongo tells the jury, it says here, she tells the jury of a time in 2016 when Diddy held her over a railing at Ventura's Los Angeles apartment. Bongo said the incident played out when she was sleeping on Cassie's couch. Diddy started banging on the front door, and before Bungalon asked him to leave, the then 5'1", 100-pound Bongo went outside on the balcony. All right, so let's set the scene here. So first of all, question, Your Honor, if I may be so bold, at what time? I wonder what time this is. What time? They should have told us what time. She says her and Cassie were sleeping on the couch, right? The prosecution would like the time. Maybe that's why the prosecution didn't introduce the time. It's not important, but because we don't have video, every little bit of information sort of colors what we think is going on. Like the prosecution probably is, I was 9:45 and the girls were already nestled in bed. They had an early meditation morning scheduled and a fun run for pediatric cancer. Yeah, like that's what the prosecution was. But is this like 5 a.m? Diddy's like bang, gang, 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 gang. Anyway, so Diddy comes banging on the door. Bongo is sleeping on the couch there in Cassie's apartment. Apparently, Cassie didn't have a guest bedroom. She just got the couch. So it's fine. Bongo's cool. Bongo's sleeping on the couch, and all of a sudden, Diddy starts banging. Banging on the door. Bitch. I don't know what he's saying. He's probably being pretty loud. He's Diddy. So she opens it up. She's like, Diddy, what are you doing here? And he's like, get out of the way, bitch. You know, like angry boyfriends are with like, their girlfriend's friend. Get out of the way, bitch. So that's probably what was happening. He didn't say that. She didn't testify to that. This is me just trying to paint the picture of the time that Diddy showed up at Cassie's apartment in the middle of the night and dangled Bongo off the balcony. So let's get back to the story. All right, so Diddy bangs on the door. Let's see here. Bongo asked him to leave. Okay, she's like, you got to leave. Again, need more details. Like, did she say that through the door? Like, is he banging on the door? And she's like, I'm letting you in, Diddy. You got to leave. Is that? Or did she open the door, let him in, and then go, you got to leave? I bet that's what happened. You don't not let Bongo does not let Diddy in. Diddy's like one of the biggest stars in the world, and Bongo's a nobody. I know she's friends with Cassie. Bongo is also, I'm guessing, someone who thinks it's pretty cool and advantageous to her struggling young career to have this association with Diddy. So, So Bongo I'm saying she lets him in. So anyway, Bongo says, you got to leave. And then Bongo goes out on the balcony. I don't know what she's going out on the balcony for. Wasn't she just sleeping on the couch? Although I guess if they're going to have this big fight in the living room, you're not going to want to be there. So the balcony it is. I like to think Bongo went out there for a midnight smoke. How old is Bongo? Is Bongo the smoking generation? Like there's a whole generation of people that would never have smoked. Interestingly enough, I've never smoked. A cigarette, I should say. I smoke a lot of weed. But I've never smoked a cigarette. Smoked a cigar, but I don't smoke cigars because only assholes smoke cigars. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The one thing, like you want me to, how many assholes have you seen on fucking Twitter where their profile picture is just them smoking a cigar? Like sucking some big brown dick. All right, dude. Cool cigar. Hey, you're just like Sinatra. Anyway, I don't know if Bongo smokes or not, but she probably went out on the balcony to catch a smoke. Let's see here. She tells the jury the time in 2016, the 5'1", 100-pound Bongo went outside on the balcony, and then she testified. He basically came up behind me. He lifted me up and hung me over the railing. During the 10 to 15 seconds while Combs manhandled her, he screamed, "You know what the fuck you did?" She says she didn't. Like, to this day, she says she doesn't know what I did. She's just like, you know what the fuck you did? And she's like, I don't know what it is that I did that made him dangle me over the fucking balcony. But I'm suggesting now, hearing all this, well, you told him to leave. Maybe that was it. Because she says he's banging on the door. She wakes up. She's like, you got to leave, Diddy. And then she goes outside and he follows her and dangles her over the, I'm guessing maybe that had something to do with it. You talk shit to Diddy. You don't talk shit to Diddy, man. All right. She says, lasted 10 to 15 seconds. He says, you know what the fuck you did? But Bongo said she told him that she didn't know what he was talking about. Then Combs tossed her onto a bunch of balcony furniture. Cassie then came out of her bedroom in disbelief and asked Combs, Did you just hang her off the balcony? Womp, 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 womp. Cut the commercial. Right? Like just a befuddled Cassie. She comes out there. You two. Womp, 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 womp. Cassie came out and she said, did you just hang her off the balcony? Jurors were then shown photos of the balcony and also an image of a bruise on Bongo's leg that was taken after the assault. Bongo also told about a time when there was some knife throwing going on between Cassie and Diddy. Diddy once threw a knife that came pretty close, Bongo says. Diddy once threw a knife that came pretty close to hitting Cassie. Let's see here. Bongo said they were both sleeping at Ventura's apartment when Bongo woke up to more banging and discovered an upset Combs inside the apartment. Hold on. That's kind of hot, right? What are we getting into here, Bongo and Cassie? Were they sleeping in the same room this time? Because the last story, Bongo was on the couch in the living room. But it seems to me she wasn't on the couch in the living room this time because when she came out, hearing the banging, Diddy was already in the living room. So there you go. Anyway, pretty hot, right? Cassie and Bongo sleeping together. Well, I don't know. And then, come on, they're just girls. Girls do that shit all the time. Yeah, let's cuddle and sleep together. And it's like there's nothing sexual about it. Fine, if that's what you want to believe. That's what I believe. Anyway, so they're just being girls. They're just sleeping together. And Bongo comes out and she sees Diddy in the living room. All right, she says here, he was very upset. He was inside the apartment. He then took out a knife and pointed it towards Cassie. Then he threw the knife in Cassie's direction. Bongo said that the knife came pretty close to where Ventura was standing, but didn't strike her. Oh, that's just more. This is more shade. More shade at Diddy throwing like a girl. We heard this last week. He threw something else, and they were like, "Yeah, it didn't even come close." It was like a comically bad throw. It was like a testimony that served no purpose other than to make fun of the fact that Diddy apparently can't throw. So here we go. Bongo's doing it again too. Came pretty close. Ventura threw the knife back at him. The return throw did not make contact with Combs, who left quickly. Well, that's fine. Cassie's a girl. She's allowed to throw bad. Oh my God, that was misogynist. Was it? Or are we just having fun here? All right, let's see here. Ventura threw the knife back. Bongo said the return throw did not make any contact. Bongo said that she never called the cops because she was, quote, scared of him. Scared. Bongo was scared again. We hear this a lot. Is that an excuse? I mean, isn't being scared to file charges against somebody who has been violent towards you still a whole part of the process of you being violated? Or how would you say that? Like you being victimized? Like, I understand it. It's like this terrible thing happens to you. Like, I don't even know if this is a terrible thing. Like I'm trying to why women don't go to police. Okay, so I understand. Terrible, terrible thing. And then there's this whole bureaucratic process that follows if you want to do the right thing. And that bureaucratic process maybe in some ways amplifies whatever victimization the individual is already feeling. I can understand that. That's a logical point to make. It's like, oh, I just got raped and now I got to go sit in a police thing. You know what I mean? But I think it's an important part of the process. I really do. I know that there are some bad dudes out there doing some shitty stuff to women. And I also know, as I just explained, that for a lot of women, it's they just want it to be over. They just want to forget about it. They just want to bury their head in the sand. But when you do that, you're making what I consider to be a highly immoral choice, a highly immoral and selfish choice. Because it's selfish because, yeah, in the moment you've just been victimized and you want it to be over. And this is just all about you and your feelings. But the reason I think it's a little immoral is because you know that there is a person who is out there doing this to people and you are doing absolutely nothing to try and stop him from doing it again. That's the real result of when people don't go to police or when people don't file charges or when people don't. And you got to live with the result. You know, I mean, and what is the result? It's a fat middle-aged white man on a stream going, really? 10 years later? Now you're going to the police, right? So go to the police. Men, women, it doesn't matter. If you've been victimized by somebody, go to the police. If for no other reason than it's your humanistic duty to ensure that another person isn't victimized by the same person who did it to you. That's all. Just look at it that way. All right, Bongo. What else did Bongo get into? Oh, Bongo tells the story about, I guess, Diddy. All right, so Bongo tells the story about being dangled. That's serious. That's true. That's crazy. That's attempted murder. Dangling somebody over 100-pound little girl. I almost said little Chinese girl, but I don't know what she is. We need to take a look at Bongo. I don't know what Bongo is. For some reason, I imagine just like, Bongo, the name, I'm sorry, Bungalon, that seems like probably Thai, maybe Malaysian, but we don't have commercial or cameras in the courtroom, so I don't know. Well, okay, you know what? Maybe we'll take a look. See if there are any pictures of Bongo. Oh, there might be. Yeah, there should be pictures. Well, I saw something, but I couldn't really tell. I saw a picture, I think, earlier today in the New York Post of her getting out of a car. But it was all hair and like hat. She was trying to hide from the camera, so I couldn't really get a good look at what Bongo was doing. Bongo testified that one time she was in Malibu doing a photo shoot on the beach with Cassie back in 2016. Oh, hold on. Bongo's a model? Oh, okay. Now I am intrigued. Now we are going to look into some Bongo. All right, let's do that here. If you're watching on the video portion of this, whether you be watching on Radio Misfits on YouTube or Radio Misfits on Facebook. All right, here, I'll show you. Let's take a look. Let me see if we can find some pictures of Bongo. All right, there's Bongo. Oh, is this Bongo? Is she Asian? She is Asian. Look at Bongo. Look at her. Yeah, it's a little tiny thing, I bet. A little tiny. There you go. Is that the drawing of Bongo? Racist. Look, why'd they draw her eyes like that? Because that's the way her eyes are? Yeah, but isn't that racist? Shouldn't you draw her eyes normal, like a white person? See what I did? All right. I don't know. We're looking at pictures. I'm looking for There's Bongo again. There's got to be a better picture of Bongo than this. Diddy. There's Bongo. That's the picture I saw earlier. See, I don't know what that is. Looks like Mariah Carey after a bender. I don't know. I can't tell what that is. Oh, there's Cassie. Oh, there's okay. So that's a nice picture of Bongo on the stand. All right, that's good because now we get an idea. All right, there we go. Jesus, still, I don't know what's up with this courtroom picture drawer guy. He sucks. He really does. This is Diddy. This is supposed to be what Diddy looks like. I mean, it's kind of, but if someone just showed you that in a vacuum and said, "Look at the picture I drew," would you go, "Cool picture of Diddy"? No, because it doesn't. And I think that's the test of any courtroom artist. Can you tell? Like if it's a celebrity, can you tell? This person sucks. All right, let's continue on with Bongo. Remember, we left off. She was testifying about a time in 2016 when she was on the beach in Malibu doing a model shoot with Cassie. And here's what happened. Banya testified she was in Malibu doing a photo shoot on the beach with Cassie Ventura in 2016 when Diddy approached her and gave her a menacing threat. Bongo testified today. He came up really close to my face and said something along the lines of, "I'm the devil and I could kill you," Bongo said. Something along the lines of, Diddy comes up to you cold and just says something like that, and you're not entirely sure how he worded it. Fuck, I'd get that tattooed on my ass. I'd be like, this is what weird ass Diddy said to me once. "I'm the devil and I could kill you," or something along those lines, she testified. She said she didn't know why he said that to her and couldn't tell if he was on drugs or not at the time. She couldn't tell if he was on drugs. She was asking, was he on drugs? Was he doing drugs? She said, I don't know. I couldn't tell if he was on drugs. I'm going to bury the lead here a little bit later during cross-examination. The cross person came up and revisited this whole subject. It was like, so we asked you if, Diddy was on drugs, and you said you couldn't tell if he was on drugs. What about you? She goes, oh, yeah, I was fucking railed out on coke. I thought he was on drugs because I was all fucking coked up. But she didn't say it like that. Here, I think this is how she said it. She said she didn't know why he said that to her and that she couldn't tell if he was on drugs at the time. I was terrified, she said, before admitting that she was on cocaine during the incident. Okay. That's points for the defense. Because it's like now the juror's like, oh, she's a cokehead. Oh, she's a fading, formerly hot. I mean, she might still be very attractive, but you know what I mean? She's like, probably she's on the far side of 38, I'm guessing. So the jury's now hearing about, she's a bitter, mean, aging former model who never quite became famous. And now she's looking for her retirement fund. And, that's a very real thing because she's admitting, yeah, I was doing coke. And there's so many layers to this. It's not like if, because really, let's think about it here. Let's think about this. She was on coke. She was all coked out of her mind. She was working. It's one thing if you're a celebrity and you're like, were you at the party? Yes. Did you do cocaine? Yes, I did. I did a line of cocaine at the party or at the club or whatever. That's one thing. You're a celebrity and you do that and you're going to take shit for that. People are like, they're a fucking cokehead. But in this case, the jury is hearing about how this chick was at work. She's at work just bumping rails. And so now everything that she says about Diddy that happened at this thing, the jury's going to be like, yeah, but she was fucked up. Not good. Not good. Another not good for the prosecution. Anyway, she says that she was terrified by the I'm the devil and I could kill you. Or words to that effect. Also, as we mentioned, should be noted once again that everything she said on the stand here today should be filtered through the context of that she is currently in litigation against Diddy as well. She is currently in a separate case suing Diddy in civil court for $10 million for the hotel or the apartment dangling incident that she testified to. Let's see here. And she did. She testified to that. She told juries that she has an open $10 million lawsuit against Diddy over the 17-story balcony incident. Bongo also said that she lawyered up back in January of 2024 and first tried to settle with the Bad Boy Records founder outside of court. But she ended up turning down his settlement offer and then eventually followed the civil suit in November of 24. All right, now we got a little cross-examination of Bongo, right? The prosecution stops with her questions. She's told her stories. She talked about the knife. She talked about the I am the devil. She talked about the dangling from the... So now the defense gets to come on up. Lawyer for Diddy spent much of the afternoon trying to discredit the testimony of Cassie's friend. Combs lawyer Nicole Westmoreland grilled Banya, or Bongo as we're calling her, grilled her extensively about her drug use, including the substances that she was on when the Bad Boy Records founder allegedly dangled her over a 17-story balcony. Okay, so we just heard that she was all coked out of her mind when he came up to her on the beach during her photo shoot with Cassie when she said, and you know what? That's another thing. Is Cassie a cokehead too? I mean, there is a very real thing, guilt by association. Cassie's a cokehead. How do I know that? Well, I don't know it for a fact, but I can put the context clues together. This chick was supposed to be her best friend. They're girly cuddle sleeping together. Bongo is crashing out on Cassie's couch. She's close enough to witness these incredibly volatile relationship fights between Cassie and the boyfriend. That's a close friend, okay? One close friend who is a hot chick who's a cokehead leads to another, okay? Cassie's not best friends with a cokehead and Cassie's not into coke herself. I'm just saying that's how these two run. And you piece these together and you have this character. She becomes a character witness. Bongo becomes, instead of somebody who is now going to add to the tapestry of all the violent things that Diddy has done, she now becomes another example of how Cassie fucking hangs around with shitty people too. Nicole Westmoreland got into the whole drug thing because remember, we learned about the cocaine at the beach during work. Now we're hearing about the 17th-story balcony dangling. Nicole Westmoreland was like, what kind of drugs were you on then? Which is like, what? She's doing drugs there too? Didn't you tell the government that you were high on Molly and cocaine on the day of the 17th story balcony incident. Westmoreland asked on the September incident, or the September 2016 incident. That's a lot of drugs, Diddy's lawyer said. To which Cassie responded, I didn't do drugs that night. All right, so there you go. But whatever, I didn't do drugs that night. Cassie saying that I wasn't on drugs that night isn't the same as, look, I don't do drugs. I did drugs. But we know she can't say that because she has already testified with the prosecution that she may have been doing cocaine during the whole I am the devil incident. And this is all screwed up. This is going squirrely, man. This whole thing is going all over. All right, so there you go. That's it. Trial basically wrapped for the day on that. It was all about Bongo on the stand. Tomorrow, it looks like we're going to have a later start, so I don't know how that's going to affect the way Judge Aram Subramanian is running this trial, but court isn't expected to start tomorrow until 11 a.m., which is a couple hour difference than how it normally does. So I don't know if it'll be a later run or if we'll just not get much. But tomorrow we get the cross-examination of Bongo, more of the cross-examination, I should say. And yeah, the Diddy team, Nicole Westmoreland, she's probably got more that she wants to pull apart about Bongo. We're going to probably hear a lot about Bongo's life, a lot more than we thought. All right, so that's coming up tomorrow. All right, so now let's look at what today was. Today was a day. Well, where are we, right? So we're on day 16. So that means heading in today, we had 15 days. And it's, was it 10-3-2? Is that what yes, it was 10-3, 10 wins so far, 10 winning days for the prosecution, 10 winning days, 10 winning days for the defense, 3 winning days for the prosecution, not good. And then 2 days as a tie. All right, so that's where we stand heading into day 16. So what did we get today with today 16? All right, with day 16. All right, here's what I think. I think that we now have 11 wins for the defense. I think that today was a win for the defense. Because again, the prosecution trotted out a witness that they thought was going to blow everybody's mind, and then the defense is like, yeah, but you're a drug addict. You're like, you do coke all the time and Molly and GHB, and let's go into your drug history. So I can't sit here and tell you that today was a victory for the prosecution when the jury is sitting here going, oh, this chick is one of them drugged out party girls. How seriously should we take whatever it is that she's testifying to here? So that's a problem. Okay, so victory on the day goes to the defense. Like, follow, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. We do this every day, a detailed rundown of everything that's testified to there on the stand in the federal courthouse in Manhattan. The trial of Sean Diddy Combs continues exclusively, Diddy or Didn't He, here on Radio Misfits. I am Pugs Moran. You can like, follow, and subscribe me as well. I do a talk show every day at 2 o'clock. Pugs Moran. It's The Rant with Pugs Moran. Honestly, just Google that. But you can find it on YouTube. You can find it all over the place every day since 2021. Current events topics, hot topics. We don't do politics. I'm not gonna rant about, Trump or Biden or any of that shit. I hate it. Talk radio for normal people every day, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Rant with me, Pugs Moran, here on RadioMisfits.com or, I don't know, YouTube. That's fine. Okay, I think that's it. Oh my God, I'm looking at other X. All right, we got breaking news from People Magazine. Apparently an ex-escort hired for alleged freak-offs tells People Magazine that Kitty was under Diddy's control. Okay. All right, so I don't know what that again. All right, so unrelated to what's going on in the courtroom, People Magazine has now published a story today, which is the 4th day of June. They've published a story today with an interview with an escort who is apparently one of the people involved in the freak-offs. We heard from didn't we hear from a couple of escorts? Or no, we heard from one escort or maybe 2. I don't know, I have to go back and check my notes. This trial is getting away from me. There's like so much. Like, who else did we hear from? Wait, who was that? How many assistants did we hear from? Let's bring Cassie back. Let's bring Cassie back and the baby. the new baby, pictures. Wouldn't that be nice for the last week of the trial? Just kind of, bookend it with, now Cassie and the baby. All right, that's it, folks. RadioMisfits.com. I'm Pugs Moran. It's Diddy or Didn't He. Every night we do this. Join me again tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye, folks.